The Drive on the Steelers Audio Network. Wes Schuler and Matt Williamson with you here for the next 2 hours on your 24/7 home of the black and gold, fresh off a bye week, but plenty to talk about. Matt, how we, I know we've been saying this for like the last 2 or 3 weeks, but I'm going to keep saying it in hopes that it's working. Another incredibly unseasonably warm day here in West. It's like 80-some degrees outside, and it's October 6th.
So Dale and I always had this running thing going about the lantern flies or whatever they are out there. How many did you kill on the way in? They're still kicking, man. I mean, it's like well into October now, and I'm like hot walking in. The sun's beating on me. There's lantern flies, the smush. I mean, it was. I thought the exact same thing.
The last couple of weeks, I've been thinking to myself, I better wear shorts again today, because who knows how many more times I'm going to get to wear shorts, until April. But yeah, unbelievable. The weather has been fantastic. It's almost too warm for this time of year, but not complaining. Better than rain, better than
I mowed the lawn 2 days ago. I mean, like, it's crazy.
My wife's been on me to cut the grass here. I think I might have to do that maybe tomorrow morning before we get back to work. But it was a nice bye week. Great weather here in Western Pennsylvania, and a happy Steelers fan base as the team sits at 3-1. And Matt, I don't think you can say the same about the rest of the AFC North.
That's the topic of the day for the Steelers.
It has to be.
Yeah, you
are sitting pretty as pretty could be at this point for the first week in October.
For the first week in October, and we should probably talk about each team. And obviously, we're going to talk about the Browns a lot all week. So I don't want to look over them.
You want to start there and.
Yeah, because I think they're the best of the three right now.
Ooh.
I mean, I'm not trying to be spicy, but I mean, like, who would you rather play against right now? I think the Browns are my last choice.
When you frame it that way, I think that's absolutely a fair statement to
make. Yeah, I actually think they're doing some encouraging things. Like, there's a little bit of optimism there. Especially when compared to preseason expectations for all three teams,
which is a big key part of this.
Of course.
But I don't think that that's an insane statement by you. In fact, now that I've had about 30 seconds to think it over, I think you might be right. I would certainly rather play the Bengals this weekend than the Browns.
I might rather play the Bengals than anybody in the league. I mean, they're getting to that point. I mean, the Ravens and Bengals look like they don't care, at least on Sunday.
Until Lamar's back, especially, you wouldn't fear that Ravens team right now in the absence of him, plus all the other injuries that they have. I think that's a completely fair statement. The Browns' defense is legit.
It's probably the best unit in the division.
And nasty.
Of the eight offenses and defense, it's the best one to me.
I
mean, the offense is near the bottom. Well, those other two teams are bad at everything.
Terrible.
Right now. They're so bad at everything right now.
But they have a legit defense, and they have a legit running back now, and Quinshon Judkins as well, too.
I'm really shocked by him. Right.
I mean,
I'm not shocked, but I'm impressed.
Because it's not the same. I don't think Cleveland's offensive line is a disaster, but it's not the strength that it was when Nick Chubb was running behind to great success. I think
he's getting a lot on his own and schemed up, and well, again, we'll talk so much Browns, but I really dug into them today. Almost all of his passes went to tight ends. I mean, they're very quarterback-friendly scheme. But Judkins is the motor. I mean, he's the engine. Their left tackle situation's a disaster. But the other four are okay, and the offense is bad, don't get me wrong. But that defense should keep them in a lot of games, like it did against Minnesota.
And they're well-coached.
They are well-coached, yeah.
That defense has kept them in every game. It's a big reason why they beat, they beat the Green Bay Packers a couple weeks ago. And again, even though that their record is not great and they've lost plenty of games, it's not like they're getting boat raced in those games. They're not getting embarrassed. They're all low-scoring tight games.
Yeah.
I do think that's fair to say that if you could pick any team to come to Acrisure Stadium this weekend, it'd be the Bengals and the Ravens ahead of the Browns.
100%. Now, I'm not accounting for the fatigue of coming from overseas without a bye. I'm just talking about how you're playing right this minute. I mean, like, who would I rather play this yesterday? Wherever. And the Browns would be my last choice of the three, and which is amazing to say. So, big picture Brown stuff, they've played the most rookie snaps of any team in the league, which probably shouldn't shock anybody. And that was even before this past weekend.
Before they went to Gabriel.
And now it's even stronger with Gabriel. I mean, the quarterback played every snap. And I thought he was fine. I mean, he didn't have a big stat line, but he got the ball out of his hands. He didn't look overwhelmed. It's not an easy defense to play against. So he was fine. And I keep going back to the draft class. You mentioned Judkins. I mean, he looks like a potential star. Yeah. Fannon's been really, really good. Schlesinger, the off-the-ball linebacker, really good. And I've said this many times, I destroyed their draft just because of the process. I mean, when it happened, I'm like,
didn't take any offensive
draft
linemen.
any offensive linemen.
You're building a nest.
Right.
How are you not going to take any offensive linemen?
Right. But the players they took, most look like hits, if not all. So at least there's something to get encouraged about if you're the Browns. Like, they haven't had a good draft forever because of the Watson trade and all those things.
Picks for years. Yeah.
Right. So at least that's something.
It certainly is. And in the scope of expectations, the way you laid it out like that, they definitely should be feeling better than the fan bases in Cincinnati and in Baltimore. Speaking of Dylan Gabriel, real quick, I want to throw this out for you. You want to hear a crazy stat?
I have one for you, too. It might even be the same.
Has nothing to do with the AFC North or the NFL, but every Oklahoma starting quarterback
I did hear that.
From 2015 to 2023, 9-year sample size, started in the NFL this past weekend.
That is insane.
Baker Mayfield, Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray, Spencer Rattler, Caleb Williams, Dylan Gabriel. 7 straight Oklahoma quarterbacks.
Good for Oklahoma, although they didn't keep them all. But yeah,
right.
That is pretty awesome.
At some point, they were the starter for Oklahoma in that stretch. That is unbelievable. But yeah, Matt, that's.
How about my stat? Fair. This one's crazy too. I may even threw it out there Friday, but Dylan Gabriel became the 10th starting quarterback for the Browns since Baker Mayfield.
Whew.
10 since Baker Mayfield. That didn't seem like that long ago.
No, it was it 2018 that he was drafted, I want to say?
Yeah, I mean, then they got away from him right at the Watson trade.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's been 10 since they moved on from Baker, who's now lighting it up and in the MVP conversation, oh, by the way. And then somebody wrote me back after it, and they went back and checked the Packers. Mm-hmm. The 10th most recent starting quarterback for the Packers was
this is probably good.
Don Majkowski, who was like, I was like 10 years old, the Magic Man. I mean, that's who Favre took over for. This was like when I was a kid.
That's
incredible. Like, that's insane.
That's a really good stat.
Right.
That is insane. And hey, might even get to 11 for Cleveland.
Maybe Shedeur gets
go to 11 if we see Shedeur at some point this season. But yeah, no, I think that's an astute line of logic by you that is probably the AFC North. Not an incredibly high bar to clear, but that is probably the AFC North team that you would least like to see this weekend. Albeit
they're playing better than the other two teams.
Albeit the caveat of how do they respond coming back from London and having to go on the road once again, which is certainly going to be tough.
So now I think about it, I think their defense is the best of the 8 units, and this next 2 are Steelers. That's how bad the other teams are right now.
Almost just by process of elimination.
And it's not like the Steelers' offense and defense are top 5 in the league. I mean, that's how bad the division is right now.
Terrible on both sides of the ball. Baltimore's terrible on both sides of the ball.
Horrendous.
So that at least puts you in the top half.
Right.
The toughest question is probably what's the 4th best unit in the league?
I guess the Browns' offense, but it's probably really bad too.
That's a tough place to be.
That's really bad.
Let's talk a little bit.
I got one more Brown stat.
Yeah, no, go for it.
Not so great.
We got nothing but time.
Yeah, Mike Sando put this out on his weekly column, friend of mine. He said that since hiring Jim Schwartz, their defensive coordinator, 2023.
Okay.
EPA, they're number 1 on defense since Schwartz has been there. That goes back to 2023, 24, and into this season.
He's a very good D coordinator.
Yes, and Garrett helps, and they have good players. Last in offense, though. Since hiring Schwartz, they're last in offensive EPA, but first in defensive EPA.
I know I'm not the first person to say this, especially in Cleveland. But, man, if they would have just kept Baker Mayfield the way he's
they might
playing,
have ruined them, but at least
a good point.
You didn't give up everything for Watson. And I mean, that's a catastrophic mistake.
You could have an extra first-round lineman or 2 on that team.
Yeah.
An extra, first or second round, like, bona fide superstar skill position guy.
Right.
Whew.
Oh, yeah. You talk about big mistakes.
Big mistakes.
Yeah.
Big mistakes. But looks like they're, starting to make up for it a little bit with the way they drafted this past year. And
at least they have picks.
Yeah. And
at least they're having picks for the first time.
Could have a
years.
top 10 pick and a top 20 pick in the first round come the NFL draft on
and
the North Shore.
And maybe Gabriel or Sanders is a guy. Who knows?
Maybe.
Right.
Matt, let's talk a little bit about this Baltimore Ravens as well, too.
They're the most interesting team to discuss.
Just maybe league-wide at this point.
Yeah.
According to our buddy Jeremy Fowler, formerly of this parish, now nationally with ESPN, the Ravens have allowed 177 points this season. That's the most over a 5-game stretch in the entire franchise history of the Baltimore Ravens.
Doesn't surprise me. So
unbelievable.
This might be 2 segments just talking Ravens because there's a lot to discuss here. So I don't know that I've seen an injury list like the one they played with yesterday.
It's bad.
I mean,
there is a grain of salt there for.
Oh, it's a boulder of salt. I mean, it's
like rock salt.
One of them's a 2-time
MVP.
Yeah, one of them's a 2-time MVP. But like, if you laid out the 10 most important Ravens, there was like 8 of them that didn't play.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, so them being bad, I understand.
There's some rhyme to that reason.
Yeah, 100%. But that was a little bit too much for my liking for a team that still has Henry and pride.
I mean, they just rolled over and
they got killed from the first drive. I mean, on both sides of the ball.
The stadium shots of M&T Bank in the second half, like every time they would zoom out, it looked like a spring game.
Really?
Like, I mean,
that doesn't surprise me at all.
And it looked like the baseball team that plays here on the North Shore in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in some of their games. I mean, there was maybe 3,000 or 4,000 people left in that stadium. It was empty.
Wow. And someone just actually tweeted us on the way here saying they were listening to the Ravens post-game show, and you're getting these quotes, which I'm sure Steeler fans they have no leadership. Fire Harbaugh. They'll be 1-5 after next week.
Sure.
Harbaugh's lost team culture. They look like a defeated team. I can't argue some of those things. Their body language was really, really bad. And like, we lost this thing from the jump. We had none of our dudes. We got none of our leaders. And the injuries are terrible. Bad luck. No question. That's hard to overcome. And Burrow being out is bad luck too, But my problems are both lines of scrimmage were bad since the season started. You know what I mean?
This is Steelers Nation Wire, your home for truth, passion, and pride in the black and gold. And right now, the rest of the AFC North is falling apart, while Pittsburgh stands tall. Coming off the bye week, the Steelers are sitting at 3-1, and everything about this team screams control. You can feel it in the air, that quiet confidence, that unshakable belief. It's not flashy, it's not loud. It's Pittsburgh football at its core, resilient, composed, and always in position to strike when it matters most. Now, if you've been listening to the national media lately, they're still trying to figure this division out. They're asking, what's going on with the Bengals? Why are the Ravens collapsing? Can Cleveland survive with rookie quarterbacks? But you know what they're forgetting? There's one constant in this division, one team that never folds no matter how ugly or chaotic things get. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's talk facts. As of Week 6, the Steelers are sitting at the top half of the AFC North, and the rest of the division looks like a battlefield of broken teams. Baltimore, ravaged by injuries and inconsistency. Cincinnati, a disaster on both sides of the ball. Yes, both. And Cleveland, a powerhouse defense trapped behind one of the league's weakest offenses. So when the hosts on the Steelers audio network said, I think their defense is the best of the 8 units, and the next 2 are the Steelers, that's how bad the other teams are right now, it wasn't a joke. It was the truth. The Steelers aren't just surviving. They're thriving because they understand something most teams don't. Championships aren't won by style, they're won by stability. Think about it. The Ravens, Bengals, and Browns are all searching for answers. The Steelers, they already know who they are. They're built on identity, not hype. While the rest of the AFC North is chasing highlight reels, the Steelers are chasing wins. Look at the numbers. Pittsburgh's defense is holding opponents under 20 points per game. They're forcing turnovers like it's 2008 all over again. TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith wrecking pockets, Mika Fitzpatrick reading quarterbacks like open books, and that front 7 playing with bad intentions. They may not be ranked number 1 in total yards, but when it's 3rd and 8, when the game is on the line, when the season is in balance, this defense shows up every single time. And offensively, say what you will, but this unit is improving week by week. Aaron Rodgers has brought something to this team that can't be measured by a stat line: composure. He's turning this offense into a machine that values efficiency over chaos. The timing with DK Metcalf is tightening. The running game is stabilizing with Kenneth Gainwell and Jaylen Warren splitting carries smartly. And even though this offense hasn't exploded yet, every week it's getting closer. You can see the rhythm developing. You can see the belief forming. Meanwhile, just look around the division. In Baltimore, the Ravens defense has given up more points over the last 5 games than any Ravens team in history. That's not a typo. The most in franchise history. In Cincinnati, Joe Burrow's injury and the lack of chemistry on offense have left them looking like a shadow of the contender that used to be. They're terrible on both sides of the ball, as one analyst said, and it's hard to argue. And in Cleveland, they've already had 10 starting quarterbacks since Baker Mayfield. 10 since 2018. That's not a rebuild, that's chaos. So when you compare that to Pittsburgh, a team with continuity, a Hall of Fame coach, and a locker room that believes in its structure, it's clear who the grown-up in the division is. The Steelers aren't just winning games, they're winning the war of stability. And let's talk about Mike Tomlin. He's not just managing this team, he's mastering it. Every week he proves again why he's the most consistent coach in the NFL. 19 seasons without a losing record. Think about that. 19 seasons. In a league designed for parity, where dynasties crumble and rebuilds never end, Mike Tomlin keeps this team relevant. That's not luck. That's culture. Tomlin has created an environment where every player knows their role. There's no panic, no finger pointing, just work. You hear it in his press conferences, you see it in the locker room. The standard is the standard. It's not a slogan, it's a lifestyle. And that's why this team is dangerous. Because while everyone else is trying to figure out their identity, the Steelers already live theirs, every day. The bye week couldn't have come at a better time. The team's getting healthy, the roster's tightening up, and they've had a full week to prepare for the Browns, a divisional rival with a defense that's real, but an offense that's crumbling. Tomlin knows exactly what's coming. He knows the Browns' left tackle situation is a mess, he knows that their rookie QB Dillon Gabriel will be tested like never before, and he knows that his defense thrives on confusing young quarterbacks. Don't be surprised if Pittsburgh's pass rush makes this game a nightmare for Cleveland's offensive line. But beyond the X's and O's, here's what makes this team special: belief. There's a trust in that locker room, a sense that they're not just playing for today, they're building something that lasts. Aaron Rodgers has brought leadership, TJ Watt brings fire, Tomlin brings vision, and the rest of this roster is following that blueprint with quiet, calculated intensity. This isn't about peaking in Week 5. This is about preparing for January, for the cold, for the chaos, for the pressure that breaks other teams apart. And if there's one team in this division built for that, it's the one that bleeds black and gold. So let the rest of the AFC North fight through injuries, drama, and quarterback rotations. Let the pundits debate who's flashier or who has more talent. We'll take the team that has structure, grit, and the heart of a champion. Because at the end of the day, the Pittsburgh Steelers are doing what they've always done: winning quietly, climbing steadily, and proving the critics wrong one Sunday at a time. So here's the reality. While the Ravens and Bengals are falling apart and the Browns are trying to find an identity, Pittsburgh stands as the last true constant in this division, the heartbeat of the AFC North. And that heartbeat? It's getting louder.